Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving straight into what I like to call a true golden rule of personal finance. We're isolating a concept that is literally going to make or break your momentum. It's fact number 5 from our source material: avoid bad debt. Now, I know it sounds super simple, right? But the mechanics working behind the scenes here are actually fascinating, and really wrapping your head around them, that's absolutely crucial if you want to build lasting financial stability. Let's look at this. It immediately sets the stakes by pitting two massive forces against each other. On one hand, you've got your personal financial progress. Your goals, your savings, building your wealth. But on the other hand, you have this incredibly heavy anchor: high interest debt. The text doesn't mince words here. High interest debt can and absolutely will slow down your progress. It's not just a passive thing. It's an active opposing force fighting against your financial freedom.
So we really need to clearly define our enemy here. Like, what exactly makes debt bad anyway? Well, our source specifically points the finger at high-interest credit cards. Those are the main antagonists to your goals. See, we're not talking about your standard low-interest mortgage here. No, we're talking about consumer debt, the kind with those skyrocketing interest rates that just relentlessly compound against you day after day, month after month.
Calling this the enemy of financial progress? Yeah, that is no exaggeration. Think about it. Every single dollar you hand over to a bank in high interest fees is a dollar that you literally cannot invest in your own future. It's just gone. Your financial momentum is essentially being siphoned away by this bad debt.
It's a pretty brutal, direct cause and effect chain. Step 1, you take on high interest debt. Step 2, your financial progress just immediately slows down. It's practically a one-to-one relationship. The very second you introduce high-interest borrowing into your life, especially without a rock-solid plan to wipe it out immediately, the gears of your personal wealth creation just grind to a sudden, painful halt.
Now, let's zoom in on a specific trap that catches, well, so many people. You know how credit card companies make it incredibly easy, almost entirely frictionless, to pay just a tiny fraction of what you actually owe every month? Right. It's called the minimum balance trap. Sure, it feels super manageable in the short term, but honestly, this is exactly where the illusion of financial control hides a much deeper, far more damaging reality.
Seriously, ask yourself this: what actually happens when you only pay that minimum balance? A lot of us mistakenly think, hey, this is a responsible strategy. I'm making sure I don't miss a payment. But in reality, actually scratch that. You aren't solving the issue at all. You're basically just keeping the debt alive on life support, all while it secretly grows in the background.
And here is the stark reality of it. That perceived safe action of just paying the minimum, it practically guarantees a heavy, lingering consequence. As our source highlights, the vast majority of your money goes straight toward the interest. It barely even touches the actual principal amount you borrowed. You aren't really paying off your purchases. Nope, you're just paying for the absolute privilege of staying chained to that debt for much, much longer.
Okay, so after feeling the suffocating weight of that trap, let's pivot to something a bit more uplifting: the definitive solution. We're going to call this the golden rule of borrowing. Getting out of this vicious cycle, or, better yet, avoiding it entirely, requires a fundamental shift in how we handle borrowed money, drawing right from the core lesson of our text.
So here is your concrete mental checklist to protect your future progress. First up, borrow wisely. Basically, this means if you absolutely must borrow, you need to know exactly what that interest rate is, you got to have a solid plan to pay it back immediately, and it has to serve a logical purpose. Second step, avoid unnecessary debt entirely. It's that simple. If you don't actually need it and you can't pay for it in full when the bill comes, just skip it. Cut out the unnecessary borrowing, and boom, you instantly eliminate the bad debt.
So, I'm going to leave you to reflect a bit on how you're managing your own financial momentum today. Look at your habits. Are you borrowing wisely, or are you letting that minimum balance trap quietly slow your progress behind the scenes? Take a really hard look at your statements this month. Please, don't let high-interest debt steal your future. Make that active choice to borrow wisely and just avoid the bad debt entirely. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep building that progress.